boys and girls, it's Mrs. Pixotto. Hope you guys are all doing well. I brought a story to read to you today called Goldilocks, and I'm sure this is a book that you've seen before. This week we're working on retell, and that means that we're going to practice when the story is all done, telling someone all the things that happened. That's what retelling is. That's what another way to be a really good reader is, to be able to talk about what happens at the end of the story. So this is Goldilocks in the Three Bears. And when I'm all done, I thought maybe you could use your memories to think about all the things that happened in the story. Once there was a little girl called Goldilocks. What a sweet child, said someone in town. That's what you think, said a neighbor. One morning, Goldilocks' mother sent her to buy muffins in the next village. You must promise not to take a shortcut through the forest, she said. I've heard that there's bears that live there. I promise, said Goldilocks. But to tell the truth, Goldilocks wasn't always someone that kept her promises. So here she is going into the forest. Meanwhile, in a clearing deeper in the forest, in a charming house all of their own, was the family of brown bears, and they were sitting down for breakfast. Oh, cried Papa Bear, this porridge is scalding hot. I burnt my tongue. I'm sad, cried Baby Bear. Now really, said Mama Bear, who was the medium-sized one, that's quite enough. I know, said Papa Bear. Why don't we go for a spin? Well, our porridge is cooling down. Excellent, said Mama Bear. So they got on their trusty old bike and off they went. Ooh, that's a cool bike to hold 3 bears. A few minutes later, Goldilocks arrived at the bear's house. She walked right in without even bothering to knock. On the dining room table, there were 3 inviting bowls of porridge. I don't mind if I do, said Goldilocks, helping herself to the biggest bowl. But the porridge in the biggest bowl was much too hot. Ah, cried Goldilocks, and she spit it out. Next, she tasted the porridge in the medium-sized bowl, but that porridge was much too cold. Then Goldilocks tasted the porridge in the little bowl, and it was just right. It wasn't too hot, and it wasn't too cold. In fact, she liked it so much that she gobbled it up. Feeling full and satisfied, Goldilocks thought it would be fun to have a look around the house. Right away, she noticed a lot of brown fur everywhere. She said, they must have kitties. In the living room, there were 3 chairs. I don't mind if I do, she said, climbing onto the biggest one. But the biggest chair was much too hard, and she couldn't get comfortable. Next, she sat in the medium-sized chair, but that chair was much too soft, and she thought she might never get out. Then Goldilocks sat in the little chair. It was just right. It wasn't too hard. It wasn't too soft. In fact, she liked it so much that she rocked and she rocked until the chair fell completely apart into pieces. Now, all that rocking left Goldilocks quite tuckered out. I could take a little snooze, she said. So she went to look for a comfy place to nap. Upstairs, there were 3 beds. I don't mind if I do, said Goldilocks, and she got into the biggest one. But the head of the biggest bed was much too high. Next, she tried the medium-sized bed, but the head of that bed was much too low. Then Goldilocks tried the little bed, and it was just right. Soon she was all nice and cozy and sound asleep. She did not even hear the bears come home. The 3 bears were mighty hungry, but when they went in for breakfast, they could barely believe their eyes. Someone's been eating my porridge, said Papa Bear. Someone's been eating my porridge, said Mama Bear. Someone's been eating my porridge and they ate it all up, said Baby Bear. In the living room, the three bears were in for another surprise. Someone's been sitting in my chair, said Papa Bear. Someone's been sitting in my chair, said Mama Bear. Someone's been sitting in my chair and it's broken to smithereens, said Baby Bear. The three bears went upstairs on tiptoe, not knowing what they would discover. At first, everything seemed fine, but then Papa Bear lay down on his bed. Someone's been lying in my bed, he cried, and he was not happy. Ah, cried Mama Bear, someone's been lying in my bed. Look, said Baby Bear, someone's been lying in my bed and she's still there. Now see here, said Papa Bear. Goldilocks woke up with a start, and her eyes nearly popped out of her head. But before the bears could demand a proper explanation, Goldilocks was out of bed, out the window, and on her way home. Who was that little girl? Said Baby Bear. I have no idea, said Mama Bear, but I hope we never see her again. And they never did. Well, thanks so much for listening to my story about Goldilocks. After this video, maybe you can tell whoever you're sitting with who the characters were in the story, where the story took place, and then maybe you can talk about the things that happened in the middle of, or at the beginning of the story, the middle of the story, and at the end. Have a great day, boys and girls. I miss you.